U.S. tariffs may soon hit India's auto component industry hard. A new report by ratings firm ICRA warns that about 8% of India's total auto parts production is likely to be impacted. Now let's break this down. The reason is the fresh tariffs announced by U.S. President Donald Trump. Back in July, Trump imposed an additional 25% tariff on top of the existing 25%. That means Indian goods are now facing a total tariff of 50% when they enter the American market. The White House justified this move by pointing at India's continued purchase of Russian crude oil. So, why does this matter so much to India? Because the United States is one of the biggest buyers of Indian auto components. Auto component exports to America make up nearly 30% of the sector's revenues, and the U.S. alone accounts for 27% of this share. That's why ICRA says close to 8% of India's entire auto component production will be directly affected by these tariffs. The problem is not just about the higher duty. Indian exporters are also now at a disadvantage compared to most of their Asian peers. Countries like China, Japan, Vietnam, and Indonesia export to the U.S. at tariff rates of only 15% to 30%. On top of that, Mexico and Canada are completely exempt from these duties under the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA. That gives their manufacturers a big edge in the American market, leaving Indian exporters squeezed from both sides.
Into who are my competitors are from South Asia and Southeast Asian country. Most of them are having a tariff of 19 to 20%. With 5% duty, some of that may be absorbed by the importers, some by the exporters. It's quite manageable situation. That's why we are pinning a lot of our hope on the commencement of negotiation. And even in the segment where the companies are overexposed into the US market, they have definitely taken a hit.
Let's look at the numbers to understand the stakes. India's auto component exports have been growing steadily. From $4.1 billion in FY 2021, exports rose to $6 billion in FY 2022, then $6.5 billion in FY 2023, and $6.8 billion in FY 2024. They are projected to touch $7.3 billion in FY 2025. Geographically, Europe is the largest export destination with 30%, followed by the US at 27%, Asia at 26%, Latin America at 3%, and other regions at 13%. Domestically, the picture looks like this. 56% of the industry's revenue comes from the Indian market itself, 29% from exports, and 15% from replacement demand. But after Trump's 50% tariff came into effect on August 7, 2025, India's $111 billion auto component industry has been forced to rethink its strategy. According to Mint report, manufacturers are now actively scouting alternative export markets while pushing for a bilateral trade agreement with the US that could offer some relief.
This, I think, will be a golden time for us to look into the alternative market. In fact, the government is encouraging exporters for a pretty long time to look into the alternative market. They have come with Africa Focus CIS program in the past also. But probably industry has not moved forward because they have the cushion of a very attractive US market where profit margins are pretty high.
The message from ICRA is clear. Unless India speeds up its trade negotiations with Washington, its auto component exporters will continue to lose ground to global competitors. For more news and updates, watch Mint News.